Hey man, just giving you a quick call. I just wanted to let you know that you are so close, dude. You're so much closer than you think. A lot of these big goals that we've had and these big aspirations, they're right around the corner for you, dude. So you just cannot give up. So stoked for you to see this. P.S. We bought a Lambo, so keep going, bro. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Bryson. This is the Bryson Everyday Project podcast. This podcast is a little bit different than other ones out there. Here, I only focus on documentation. I don't focus on quality or being professional or being entertaining. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I'd love for you to stick around and give the show a listen. You can also follow me on Instagram at BRQUSE. Thank you so much. Here's the show.
Well, cool shit happened today. I unintentionally ran a 5K. I only found that out moments ago, actually. Today is Thursday, October 16th, 10:05 p.m. Lexi went to yoga, and because I didn't hit the gym or anything today, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna join her, but I'll just run on the treadmill because I just want to run more. You know, I find it to be somewhat enjoyable. It's a mental battle for me, and I just want to get good at it, and I want to be able to endure long distances like she does, like Lexi does. So she's definitely inspired me to do a lot of this, I would say. And I don't know, I not that I've accomplished a shit ton in the weightlifting area, but I've never done anything cardio related whatsoever, ever. So it'd be cool to explore that and do something there. But anyway, my goal was, so her yoga class is an hour. My goal was to just walk, run, jog, sprint, whatever, 4 miles in an hour. I've never done anything close to that. The furthest I've ever ran in my entire life without stopping is 2.35 miles. And I did that outside last week. And that's the longest. Before that, it was 2 miles up on base around the little track, or not the track, the whatever you call it, the nice looking trail. I don't know. And I didn't run longer than 2.35 miles tonight without stopping, but I did run 2 miles, and then I walked for about six minutes, and then I ran for about a mile, almost a mile, and then stopped for about 4 minutes, and then I ran the last however long that was to get to 4 miles before the hour was up. That was my whole goal. I just wanted to get 4 miles in the hour. And I did. And I actually did it with, I think, maybe 2 minutes to spare, something like that. And so as soon as I hit 4 miles, that's when I turned the speed down on the treadmill and just started walking. And what's really cool about this for me is I've never done this, nothing close. And it's probably double what I've ever done in my life, which is very cool. And what's cool is I started off at 5.1 speed, and then I walked, and then when I ran again, I increased it to 5.3, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go 5.5. So I did, and then I walked, and then when I started running again, I actually put it at 6, and I was able to maintain that for, well, it felt like eternity, but it was, it's probably only, I don't know, it's probably only like 6 minutes, something like that. If that, it's probably way too long. And then I dropped it down to about 5.4. So what's cool is I increased the speed as I went on, and I was for the most part able to maintain. And yeah, I think it was just, for me, it was just a great accomplishment because I've never done this before. And I would say that I've been lacking in the mental resilience side of things recently, and I'm really just trying to navigate that, to be honest, because I think this might be a longer show. What I want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but just what I heard Dan Martell talk about, which was going pro, and anyway, I'll talk about that in another show. But anyway, I did that, and I'm feeling it really bad right now. I'm very achy, fatigued, and I'm very tired. But what was absolutely incredible was after I finished this run and after Lexi did her yoga session, I was sitting in the car and we were driving home, and she had previously made dinner for us before we left, and it was this chicken, potato, broccoli, Alfredo casserole. and it was delicious. She absolutely crushed it. And I couldn't help but just sit there and think, like, holy shit, we're going to the gym together. I just hit a PR with running. She looks hot as shit, love her to death. She made us dinner. We get to go home, and I get to fill my stomach full of some yummy foods, and we absolutely are going to finish it off with dessert because she also makes some healthy dessert options. And then we get to fall asleep in each other's arms. That was literally my thought, almost word for word right there. And so I told her that, and I just felt so fortunate to have all these things, you know? It just makes me feel very grateful. So shout out to Lexi for, she's not my wife, she's not even my fiance, but shout out to Lexi for being one hell of a wife, you know? Wow. Love you, babe. Anyway, then we got home. Like I said moments ago, I was laying on the bed and I was like, oh, it says I ran a 5K because I was looking on the fitness app on my phone. And it said I got the 5K medal. And I was like, holy shit, I ran a 5K. And I actually was not really, but entertaining the idea of, you know, what if I ran a 5K just to see if I could do it? And I did. I did it tonight. Now, it took me an hour to go 4 miles. So if we're talking a half marathon, for example, that would be, if you want to just round up, because I'd probably go slower as time went on, it'd be a 4-hour event for me to run a half marathon. So it might even be, you know, a 12, 16-hour day if I were to run a marathon. I'm not even close to that, but just doing math, you know. But I ran a 5K, so that's cool. Never done that ever in my life. Nothing close. So feels good. When I told Lexi I wanted to do 4 miles in an hour, she was like, "Oh, you sure? Make sure you like don't hurt yourself," kind of thing. Because I've never done 4 miles. Most I've ever done is 2, and then I guess 2 point something. So yeah, it's a big stretch. So what she was saying was absolutely valid, and I was like, you know what, I think I'll be fine. I believe this to be a very mental thing, and turns out to some extent I was right. Definitely is mental because I was fine, and I actually blocked out on that treadmill the time, the pace, I just didn't want to see the time. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to know how fast I was going. I didn't want to know how much time had elapsed. I didn't want to know anything because I just wanted to go until I actually got tired without thinking about it. And it turns out it was around the 1.78 mile mark. And the reason why I know that is because I was feeling really tired, and I was like, okay, so this is when I'm tired. What time is it? So I looked, about 1.78. So I was doing fine, and then the last 0.22, because 1.78, it was just so hard, and it was probably because I was aware of how much longer or how close I was. So I knew that I was about to finish, and so it just became that much more intense for me to keep going. And I think it's all in your head. I think so much in life is just all in your head. The mind quits before the body does. And I think building that resilience is just training your brain to quit when your body actually can't, you know? I don't know. So that was cool. So that's that. Earlier today, I killed it with a lot of what I'm working on right now. And I just realized, just the sheer amount of shit that goes into everything that I've built. I'm going through and I'm just trying to make sense of it all, polish it up, ensure that everything works. And I still have to do that again, but I'm going through things and I'm just like, there is so much here. This is insane. And some of the stuff actually somehow just is broken. And I'm sure it's because I've gone through and deleted stuff and moved things around and changed names of titles and blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that is broken, and I've got it pulled up, or I guess I thought I did. Where did it go? Oh yeah, one of the things that is broken, and it's so frustrating, is I have a formula and it's called next payment. And how it works, I guess it's fairly complex, but if the package is split pay
and still paying is checked off, then put the next date that would come after the next payment date. So, for example, January 1st, if that's the date that they paid and they're still paying, then it would be February 1st that would be the next payment date. And then that's for split pay. For paid in full and for free, that doesn't exist because they pay once and then they're done, and for free they don't pay at all, so there's not a next payment date. And then for the month to month, that's a little trickier. So package has to be M2M, and payments remaining has to be not zero. If it's not zero, then put the next payment date. Because if it's zero, that means they're done paying. There shouldn't be a next payment date. And then for month to month, no contract. So M2MNC, there should always be a next payment because there's no end date. And that's kind of the logic for just one formula. So simple in practice, complex as fuck in real life. I'm looking at the formula right now and what a shit show. And for some reason, it just will not do all of what I said. It'll only do some. And it is so frustrating. If I were to diagnose this right now, I don't see anything with month to month NC. For only require the package type, not any other conditions. If no start date exists, can't calculate next payment. Handle case for start date is greater. Handle case where start date is greater than days and month. See, I don't know what the fuck that even means. If that date is in the password today, try next month. I don't know what the fuck that means. But reading that out loud, the first part should work, but it doesn't. And I have ran so many prompts through Notion AI, and it doesn't work. And I actually was in the middle of that when it was time to go to the gym. So that's an open loop for me right now. I'll have to tackle that first thing tomorrow morning, which, fuck. That's what I have to say about that. But what's really cool is I use Notion AI to fill up these databases with fake info, and it has made visualizing all the data and seeing if things actually work so much easier. It's actually pretty cool how it works. And because it's I don't know, because it's AI and I can see the patterns, I can see clear as day how it went about creating this fake data. I think it's very interesting. But regardless, what's crazy is I didn't even add anything to the questions and answers sheet that I've been working on because I spent it polishing things up and working on things. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am so excited to finish this. I'm so excited to I'm just calling it Project 1. Official project version 1. Literally the name of what I have here. I am so stoked to finish this. That way I can start selling it and get feedback. You know, I think the feedback portion is going to be killer. And I'm going to give it to Mina. I'm going to give it to Trey. I'm going to give it to Dawson. And I really want to get feedback. There's a lot of things on here. I would just love to pick people's brains, you know. And I think what I need to do, so what I've done so far is throughout everything that I've been building, there's a button. It's called Q&A, need help, ? And you click that and it pops open the Q&A document. And it's right there, it's center, it looks nice. And all the things that you could possibly need to know are right here. And it looks very nice. I actually am very impressed with how I've done here. But I want to put a form that's attached to it or a button that's next to the button that's already there, put a button next to it, or I don't know. And make it a form that people can submit a request and ask questions or blah, 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 or leave feedback. That way I can gather it from not only just the coach, but their entire team. So the reason why I guess I was shying away from this was because I would rather talk to the coach myself and say, hey man, how are you? How are things? What sucks? What's good? What's not good? And then talk to them. But I never thought that they were going to have their team using it. At least that's who I'm going for. So there's going to be people that probably don't even, like, for example, if I am, well, I don't know.
Mina has VAs. Those VAs aren't going to come and talk to me. They're probably going to talk to Mina about what's going on with Notion. Therefore, if I made the form, it would probably be for those type of people on the team that don't talk to me, that don't even know I exist. And rather than funneling all the info and the questions and blah, blah, blah to Mina in this example, and then Mina bringing them to me, the owner of the system, that form would just capture it all. And because it's so easy to access and fill out, hopefully it would just generate as much possible feedback as it could. And what's cool about that is because it's a link, I could actually have that open up and that data would submit into my Notion. So that's cool. So that's something. But anyway, a lot of the stuff is done. I actually wrote a couple social media posts. Sorry, not all of the stuff is done. What I'm looking at right now that you guys have no idea what I'm seeing is done. I made a couple social media posts actually, and I didn't make the posts, but I wrote them, I created them. And again, I'm just hyped to start posting stuff because this stuff excites me. I'm really looking forward to this stuff. And I wrote some posts, and I'm really just excited to see how they do. Because I don't have any followers that are my ideal client, the posts will flop and they're not going to do well, and they probably won't do well for a long time. But I think with time, when I message people and I'm getting in the DMs and stuff, I think that'll be cool. I think I'll see some traction. I really do. So anyway, I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to share tonight. Yeah, you know what? I think that's it. So appreciate you guys listening. Please rate the show if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.